So it's Friday, payday. You check your bank account, you see that deposit hit, and for like 3 glorious hours you feel rich. You might even check your balance a few times, just to see that number sitting there. But then Monday rolls around, you check again, and somehow half of it's already gone. You're sitting there thinking, where did it even go? And then 2 weeks later, you're eating ramen and checking your account every day, hoping you miscalculated and there's more money in there than you thought. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. This isn't a budgeting problem. This is a routine problem. And I'm going to show you exactly why your payday routine is the difference between staying broke and actually building wealth. My name is Prosper, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people with good incomes still end up broke every single month. If you're someone who makes decent money, but somehow still feels like you're living paycheck to paycheck, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, back in medieval times, when peasants got paid, and I'm talking like after harvest season or whatever, they had this thing called ale shot. Basically, the moment people got their wages, they'd immediately go blow it at the tavern. The lord of the manor knew this. The church knew this. Everyone knew that payday meant the tavern was about to make bank while the peasants stayed poor. Fast forward 600 years, and we're still doing the exact same thing. Except now, instead of the tavern, it's DoorDash, Amazon, and that treat yourself mentality that social media keeps shoving down your throat. A study from the Financial Health Network found that 64% of Americans, nearly 2/3, are living paycheck to paycheck. And here's what's crazy. That includes people making over $100,000 a year. This isn't just a poverty problem. This is a behavior problem. Here's what most people don't realize. The first 24 hours after you get paid are the most dangerous 24 hours of your entire month financially. Think about it. You finally have money again. You've been restricting yourself, saying no to things, maybe even stressing about bills. And then boom, that direct deposit hits and your brain goes into celebration mode. It's like you've been holding your breath underwater and you finally get to come up for air. Psychologists call this the licensing effect. Basically, after a period of restraint, your brain gives you permission to indulge. You've been good with money all month, so now you deserve to treat yourself. Right? Wrong. This is exactly how the system is designed to keep you broke. Credit card companies know this. Retailers know this. They literally time their promotions and email campaigns to hit right after the most common payday dates, the 1st and the 15th of the month. According to research from the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, consumer spending spikes by 15 to 20% immediately following payday, and most of that spike isn't on necessities. It's on stuff that seemed like a great idea in that moment of financial relief, but that you absolutely did not need. Let me show you what this actually costs you. And I'm going to use real numbers here, because I want you to feel this. Let's say you make $4,000 a month after taxes. That's roughly $50,000 a year. Pretty close to the median household income in the US. Not rich, but not poverty either. Now, in that first day after payday, you make some purchases. Order takeout, because you deserve it after that tough week. $35. See a sale on Amazon and grab a few things you've been eyeing. $80. Maybe you go out with friends because you actually have money. $60. Fill up your gas tank even though it's only half empty because you can afford it right now. $40. Pick up some stuff at Target you need it. $45. That's $260 in one day. But Prosper, you're thinking, that's not that much. I needed some of that stuff. Did you though? Here's where it gets really interesting. If instead of spending that $260, you invested it every single payday, twice a month, at a conservative 8% annual return, in 30 years, you'd have $783,000. Let me say that again, $783,000. That's the difference between retiring comfortably and working until you're 75. That's the difference between generational wealth and generational poverty. And it all comes down to what you do in the first 24 hours after payday. Now you might be thinking, okay, Prosper, but I have bills to pay. I have responsibilities. I can't just invest all my money. And you're right. But here's what you're missing. The order in which you spend your money matters more than how much you make. Back in medieval times, when the lord of the manor collected taxes, he took his cut first. He didn't wait to see if the peasants had anything left over. He took what was his immediately, right off the top. The peasants had to survive on whatever remained. You need to become the lord of your own financial manor. But instead of taxing yourself, you're paying your future self first. Here's the routine that actually works, and I want you to write this down. The payday hierarchy level 1, the king's treasury, 0 to 2 hours after payday. The moment, and I mean the moment, your paycheck hits, you make 3 transfers before you do anything else. 20% to your investment account, 401k, Roth IRA brokerage, 10% to your high-yield savings emergency fund, 5% to your freedom fund. This is for guilt-free spending on wants. That's 35% of your paycheck that disappears before you even have a chance to spend it. Level 2, the Lord's obligations, 2 to 4 hours after payday. Now you pay your fixed expenses, rent or mortgage, utilities that are on auto pay, insurance, minimum debt payments, subscriptions you're actually using. Level 3, the peasant's provisions, rest of the month. What's left is for variable expenses, food, gas, entertainment, personal care, whatever. Look, here's the thing most finance gurus won't tell you. Budgeting fails because it requires constant willpower. You're asking yourself to make good decisions every single day, multiple times a day, for the rest of your life. That's exhausting. That's why it doesn't work. The payday routine works because you only need willpower for about 2 hours, twice a month. That's it. You automate the good decisions, and then you live your life with whatever's left. A study from Duke University found that 45% of our daily behaviors are habits, not conscious decisions. The wealthy don't stay wealthy because they have more willpower than you. They stay wealthy because they've automated their financial decisions so they don't have to think about it. This is where it gets really interesting. When you set up your payday routine correctly, something psychological happens. That money you transferred, your brain starts to forget it exists. It's like it was never yours to begin with. You stop feeling deprived because you're only spending money you can actually see. Now you might be thinking, Prosper, I can barely make it through the month as it is. How am I supposed to save 35% of my income? Fair question. And honestly, you probably can't. Not right away. But here's what you're missing. You're probably already spending that 35%. You're just spending it on stuff that disappears instead of stuff that compounds. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American household spends $3,500 per year on dining out, $1,800 per year on entertainment, $1,200 per year on subscription services they barely use. That's $6,500 right there. For someone making $50,000 a year, that's 13% of their income on stuff they won't remember in a year. I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. Remember, we built in that 5% freedom fund. That's your guilt-free spending money. That's your order takeout money. That's your go out with friends money. But the other 30%? That needs to work for you, not against you. Here's an analogy. In medieval times, the merchants who got rich weren't the ones who sold all their goods and then spent all the profits. They were the ones who took their profits and bought more inventory. They reinvested. Your biggest asset right now isn't your car, your apartment, or your education. It's your income. And every payday is an opportunity to take that asset and turn it into more assets, or to waste it on consumption that adds zero value to your life. The difference between rich and poor isn't how much you make. It's what you do with what you make in those first few hours after it hits your account. Warren Buffett, who's worth over $100 billion, still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. You know what he does on payday? He doesn't even see it. It goes straight into investments automatically. He built the routine decades ago, and now he doesn't have to think about it. All right, here's exactly what you're going to do. And I mean exactly. Don't overthink this. Step 1. This week, open a high-yield savings account if you don't have one. I'm talking Marcus, Ali, SoFi. Someone giving you at least 4% interest. This takes 10 minutes. Step 2. Before next payday, set up automatic transfers for the day after your payday. Start with 10% to investments. Increase this by 1% every 3 months. Start with 5% to savings. Increase this by 1% every 3 months. Start with 5% to your freedom fund. Can't do 20% total right now. Fine. Start with 10%. Start with 5%. But start. Step 3. On payday, do not, and I mean do not, check your main checking account until those automatic transfers are complete. Don't give your brain the dopamine hit of seeing the full amount. By the time you look, the money you're supposed to save should already be gone. Step 4. Throughout the month, live on what's left. That's your budget. If you run out, you learn to adjust. But here's what's crazy. Most people find that they actually don't miss that money once it's automated away. Look, I'm going to level with you about something most personal finance content won't say. This is going to feel bad at first. You're going to see your friends spending money on stuff. You're going to see things you want to buy. You're going to have moments where you feel like you're depriving yourself while everyone else is living their best life. But here's what you need to understand. Those people are on a financial hamster wheel. They're going to be working until they're 70. They're going to be stressed about money for the next 40 years. They're going to be the ones posting on social media about being broke while simultaneously posting pictures of their new purchases. You're playing a different game. According to a study from the National Endowment for Financial Education, 88% of Americans feel stressed about money. You know what the common denominator is? They're all reacting to their money instead of controlling it. The payday routine flips that script. You're telling your money where to go. You're not asking it where it went. There's this concept from medieval times called the king's touch. People believed that if the king touched you, you'd be healed. Obviously, that was nonsense. But here's what's not nonsense: the idea that your financial future can be transformed by a single decision point. And that decision point is what you do when your paycheck hits your account. You don't need to make 1,000 perfect decisions every month. You need to make 3 good transfers twice a month. That's it. 6 actions per month that will determine whether you're wealthy or broke in 30 years. The medieval peasants stayed poor because they didn't control their money the moment they got it. The Lord stayed rich because they took their cut first. Be the Lord of your own financial manner. Set up the routine. Automate the transfers. And watch what happens when you finally start paying your future self before you pay everyone else. If this helped you see payday differently, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me what percentage you're going to start with. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your future self is going to thank you. I'm Prosper, and I'll see you in the next one.